Hey, this is Coach Trifes,
Depot
and I will teach you how to cork 7 blunt. So what is actually a Cork 720 blunt grab, or short Cork 7 blunt? Well, first of all, Cork 7 blunt is the off-axis spun 720, which are 2 full spins, 2 460s, quick maths, And how about the blunt part? Well, we call a grab blunt when you cross your front part skis, may it be in front of the bindings or directly over them, whilst also grabbing with your right hand the tail bend tip of your right ski, or respectively the back left tail tip of your ski. We skiers also like to see this one very capped at the very end, so you have the maximum style and steez going on with that trick. If you combine both of them, the cork and the blunt grab, you probably get to do and see one of the most fun and iconic tricks of free skiing. It is simply said the most beautiful trick to me. I've been doing it for over 10 years now, and it's safe to say I still like it as much as day one, if not even more. So before we continue with the actual tutorial, I just wanted to let you know that before starting to learn this trick, you should be able to safely hit jumps with at least a 360, and also feel quite familiar with jumping jumps in general. Knowing how to backflip can help for the air awareness, but it is not necessary in my opinion. Some people say you also need a straight 720, but I do not share that opinion too, because spinning straight is actually way harder in skis. If you can do all of those things, it'll make your life way easier learning that trick, so therefore you can solely focus on learning it instead of worrying about other things. Moving on, the takeoff. Your feet in skis are placed as wide as your shoulders, or slightly more, depending on how you feel the most comfortable. Keep your knees bent at all times. Remember, I don't want you to sit back on your skis, keep pressure on your shins in the boots, therefore you can secure a good posture and don't lean back. Then, wind up your arms into the opposite direction you want to spin. Building up tension is the magic word here. The second you feel the resistance, start to unwind them into the desired spinning direction. Also, keep your core under tension. Do not let your hips fall in any circumstances, otherwise you'll start dipping to the left or right. This so-called falling in with your hip will result in you having a bad posture, meaning you will have a hard time getting into the axis and lose all the momentum you just built up on the takeoff. The saying, your hips lead the way, is very much true. Initiating your right rotation. Your right arm then, on the takeoff, pushes into the direction of the cork rotation. Your left arm opens up for it, while your left shoulder also drops back. Vice versa for right side spinners. Simultaneously, you should also already look ahead of the direction you will spin, because wherever your head turns, your body will naturally follow. In addition to that, you also have to dip your head and upper body towards the takeoff at around 90 degrees, latest 180 degrees in the air. This dip will make your body go off axis. As already established, wherever you look, your body will go. Do not dip while still on the takeoff. It will make things so much harder and will also more likely result in a failure. This also relates to the thing when your hip starts to dip to the left or right, or like nick in, because you don't really hold the posture you're supposed to and kind of fall off. Getting the grab. At this point, you've already set the flight path to success. Once you've left the takeoff, you start to gently cross your left ski over the right ski. I say gently because even I'm occasionally stressing it and make my skis click off mid-air. Not ideal, to be honest. By the way, right side spinners cross the right ski over the left. Then, at the same time, you start bending your knees so your lower legs will come closer to you, which brings your skis closer to you too. Optional, you can add an arching of your back into the mix. Not will it get you even closer towards the tail, it'll make you look like a flying Jesus too. Skis level over 9,000, guaranteed. By doing so, the distance between your actual hand and the tail tip will decrease dramatically, where getting to grab it is actually just only a couple centimeters, inches away from you. I definitely recommend you to actually look at your tail tip mid-air for a split second at the beginning of learning it, so you can coordinate your hand much easier to actually get a hold of it. Because missing a grab mid-air is not only whack, but it also creates a quite awkward moment for you and makes the trick actually harder itself to control. Ironic, huh? You're putting yourself at even more risk just to make it look tight, but let's be honest here, it just looks dope. Period. Your goal is to catch a grab towards the 360 mark. Don't rush it. I really can't stress this enough. If you stress to get it, you might mess up the setup of your rotation and end up somehow messy or silly mid-air and ultimately fail on a jump, and you might get hurt. We don't want that to happen here. It is better to set the rotation first and then to start worrying about the grab, because this grab in particular allows for excellent mid-air control and can be held for an eternity if you really want to. Once you finally catch the grab, absolutely focus on finishing the rotation by looking ahead of the rotation. This is the make or break moment of the trick. If you turn your head around towards the completion of the 7, it can be scary the first time as your back faces the floor and you're basically a flipped around turtle. You will then be able to see the landing fully, properly for the rest of the jump. Plenty of time to bring this baby home and stop it. Last up, the landing. Alright guys, hard part's over. Now you just release the grab by letting it go out of your hand. Focus up on the landing spot with your own eyes, keep your feet close and straight together and brace for impact. Bend your knees to absorb the impact, your back will thank you in the long run. Ideally, you want to keep your arms close to your body for extra steeze, but having them up or around the area of your chest can also help to do the last minute adjustments to your overall balance before landing. It's only natural that you have to do that from time to time, since sometimes you spin faster or slower, go bigger or shorter. Every hit on the jump is different. And don't forget about the afterbang and enjoy your journey on learning the Cork 7 blunt.